To Trails with Tales, Chapter 1 of the Fontenot family legacy. Name. Originating in France, place, a location of water, possibly a fountain, where the family came from the area of France. When arrived in America, or the New World, it was French Alabama that Sergeant Jean Louis Fontenot arrived in, changed to Fontenot. That makes it easy to track the American versions of the name. The name that my mother was born to in North America, Fontenot. She was born in Ville Platte, Louisiana. Sergeant Jean Louis Fontenot came from Poitiers, France. Evil portion of France for as far back as I could trace, several generations. He was the third inheritance, and he was part of the French Marines when he arrived in Mobile, Alabama. The French had started arriving in the southern Gulf Coast states in 1770. Jean Louis Fontenot was 34 when he arrived in Alabama. Louise Henrique was from France, an area known as, but that wasn't what it was called at the time she and her family were there. Again, her family had been, her father died when she was an infant, looked like under 2. And while her mother lived on in France, Louise married and came to New Orleans with her first husband, Thomas. Unfortunately, he passed away in New Orleans on August 2nd, 1721, leaving Marie Louise. She would marry Jean Louise Fontenot in 1726 in Mobile. The two of them would move to Fort Toulouse in 1726. They had 12 children during their time there. They lived until 1763 as a family, though Sergeant Fontenot had died. He is buried at Fort Toulouse, and there is a monument with his name on it there. One of the sons, also serving in the Marines in Fort Toulouse during their time there, also died. Fort Toulouse for 37 years. The children began having their own children. Call the Cajun families, the earliest of the southern of the French Marines. The names that the Fontenots were attached to during their time in Fort Toulouse: Dupree, Brignac, DeSoto, Guillory, families that spent 2 generations building up in Alabama prior to the treaty 1763, at which time they chose to go to by invitation rather than sign their pledge of allegiance to the fighting for over 1,000 years. By the time we had gotten to this point, the French and the British had fought to the New World.